Hello and welcome to Remnant 2. We're going to be looking at the Corrupted Aphelion. It's the last one on my list for right now. Here you can see it. Just like the others, it looks slightly different. A little bit more of that red tinge, black, gray look. The corrupted appearance and stuff, just like from, the enemies that you got it from. But it's really not that different from its base form. It has a couple slight differences, but for the most part it does the same thing. So its primary fire is going to shoot three hypercharged wide arcing lines that pass through targets. So it's going to shoot out a stack of three lasers that kind of go out in like a arc and then pierce through enemies. It doesn't do a ton of damage. It does 66 damage. Now there's three of them coming out at once, so like it's technically more than it says it is. And they do pierce targets, so that's something to keep in mind. But the damage on it when I've been using it has not been super amazing. It's felt kind of not great. It's been feeling pretty low, especially when you consider a magazine size is 6. And for some reason, having that vertical stack just kind of feels awkward to hit people consistently or decently with. Like, I don't know. Not really super amazed by it, but to be fair, I wasn't really super amazed by the primary fire on the regular Aphelion either, so, take that as you will. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. And then we get into the mod, and the mod is a little bit different. It's got the same basic idea behind it, but it tweaked it a little bit. So the mod on the Corrupted one shoots out 5 compressed remains of Dying Star, and then on contact or when they hit with primary fire, etc., they're going to explode and deal damage and catch people on fire for 10 seconds, right? The radius on it is pretty small. It says within 2 meters. Not very big. And I have points into amplitude, and I don't know if it's bugged or something. I put points into amplitude. The tooltip didn't update. I had a hard time trying to test and tell, like, if it was actually affecting the radius or not. I tried putting points into resonance to see if maybe that would update things, and I couldn't. It didn't update the tooltip, and I don't know that it really affected it at all. So I think it might be bugged. Not 100% sure. But moving on, right? They explode. And it's kind of in a small radius, but there are 5 of them. So that should kind of cover that a little bit, right? Now, if you do shoot any of them with a primary fire, it'll make them explode right then for a larger radius and more damage. And they will do a shockwave that'll detonate all the other micronovas. So it's going to look a little bit like this. Here's our standard fire, just like this. And you can see how it kind of pierces through multiple enemies. Depending on where you're at, I've seen this happen a couple times, right? See how if you're like right up on a target, sometimes the beam just like shoots off into like weird directions. See, just like that. So I've gotten it before where it like goes and it hit this dude and then it like ricocheted off through all the other ones while I was like looking that way. So it can do some kind of janky things. But then the mod ability is going to look like this. You load it up and then you fire it, and 5 little things will go out. And see, when they contact an enemy, they explode, deal some damage, catches them on fire. Now, if you notice, our mod is already charged, right? And it's because of the Stone of Malevolence. Like, we have that on because I'm using my explosive build, because naturally that's where it fits in. But something about the way the things detonate and deal fire damage, it triggers them Stone of Malevolence like really hard, and so it just like immediately refills it. I don't think it's functioning the way it's supposed to, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Yeah, but anyways, if you shoot it off and then you shoot them, there it is. It gets that kind of larger radius. It triggers all of them off at the same time, and so even though that the radius on each of the explosions is kind of like small, by having 5 of them out there, you can kind of get a chain reaction and hit a large radius. And that's pretty much it, man. There's not much more to say about it, at least as far as like what it does. And from my own little testings and the little bit I've been using it, gotta say I have not been impressed. I don't think it's necessarily like bad, but I think it's suffering from the same thing that Deceit is, where it's not really any different from its regular version. It's still doing the same basic thing. It's just not doing anything better. Like it's doing the same thing but more difficult. It's adding more steps, making it harder, doing less damage. Like it's adding more things that it just doesn't seem to need. So right now I'm not super about it. Maybe I'm wrong and I'm just doing it wrong. you guys can let me know. So swap it over, pierce it through, and that's what I mean with the damage. It's like, look, it took a full magazine and I still haven't killed that dude. Now granted, right, I can shoot through multiple dudes, so that is something to keep in mind. Just like I said, right, it pierces through multiple targets. So for the same shots I fought earlier, I could have been taking out like multiple guys at the same time. But then we go into the mod and then we blast him there. Pop, there he goes, and he's gone. And see, it's already immediately charged. And actually, I want to show you something I noticed that it did. I have a whole bunch of points into kinship because obviously I don't want to blow myself up, which is a pretty easy thing to do, especially when you've got amplitude in there. But if you use a mod right on top of a guy, look how far it sends us backwards. Ready? Look how far back that sends us. Isn't that ridiculous? I think it's because there's 5 explosions and they all trigger at the same time, so they all send us a bit. Yeah. So anyways, let's move on. I want to try and like really use the mod, right? There's some dudes coming in, so we're gonna pull back a little bit. We're gonna drop one of these, and then we're gonna try and catch them like this. And there it hit them, but it didn't do like that much damage, right? I mean, it took a couple uses of it. Whereas I want to say when I was messing around with regular Aphelion, I would use the mod once, and then immediately like everything would die, like just straight up. There is no, oh, I need to cast it again. Like they either died or they got close enough to dying that the burning would bring them down. Like, I mean, he died, I guess, in one use, but still felt like it was a little closer than it had to have been, right? And that goes out. Oh, owie. Send out another one. Right now, I guess I can kind of just keep sending them out like this, and that'll do me good, I guess. But it's like, I don't know. It feels like it's more work than it has to be. And it was all the multiple ones. Like, it's hard for me to tell, like, how close they are to actually getting to the target that I want to hit. So I'm not sold on it. But it could be just because I didn't super enjoy Aphelion to begin with. So this isn't necessarily doing it for me either. Hey, can you please do that? Oh, that pushed him way back. That was interesting. And especially, it's so hard, like, I hate this argument that I'm gonna kind of like use, right? But right now, I'm using this thing, and it's been difficult for me to use effectively to make it feel like really good and consistent. And all I can think of is, why would I keep messing around with this when I could just use the regular version of it? When I could just use Starshot or Corrupted Meridian? Like, all of those things are doing the same kind of explosive things, but more easily. It's not even like it's different enough to say like, oh, well, these are like homing stars, so you throw out all 5 and then they all go seeking out different targets. Like, I would use that then. I'd be like, sweet, I could just throw them out there and they're going to drift off and seek out a target, and that is going to be really cool. But it doesn't do things like that. It's still the same thing that the regular one does, just like not as good. And all I can think is like, well, why would I use this when I have this other thing? And I don't like that argument because it's the same thought of like, well, why would I do any build when I could just load up Firestorm and do that, you know? Because it gets boring, right? It gets boring to just do the same thing over and over again. Like, try and do different stuff or something. I don't know. But I can just shoot this over there, and I clip both of them, and they're gone. Just like that. I didn't have to throw things out there, shoot them again, and make it work somehow. It just did the job that it was supposed to do. Because I'm going to lob these out. They're going to drift and drift and drift, and maybe eventually they'll be close enough. Did I time it right? I did. Thank you. But then I got to wait. Hopefully it'll be... Okay, it did it kind of there. That's good. Still alive, though. So, I don't know. I used it on a boss earlier, too. I kind of recorded it. I might have deleted it. But I used it on the bug boss, and I was not impressed. It just wasn't impressed again, because it just wasn't hitting him consistently. Just the damage wasn't that high. The radius was just still too small. Even though there's 5 of the things out there, they just don't seem to hit enough. I don't know. Something about it just feels kind of off. There's a guy there. Oh, that's not great. I don't like that at all. Let me out. Let me out. Oh, I'm gonna die, aren't I? Oh, get away from me. We gotta heal up. I'm gonna die. I'm still alive somehow. Hell yeah. Oh, now I'm gonna die. Let me out. I keep saying I'm gonna die. Alright, we do that. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't want to blow myself up. Let me out. Nope, didn't work. I thought maybe I could get myself out. It's taking so much fucking work to get through this dude. Oh, good lord. And now it's reloading, of course. Let's just do this. Look how much damage that does. Just instantaneous. You just hit them and then bam, it's like damage. Please don't blow me up. I would really appreciate it if you didn't do that. Oh, where is my turret? This is just a disaster. Alright, now we're under... I feel like I've got things sort of under control. Oh, Lord. Still alive? Oh, come on, dude. This is awful. Why can't I shoot? Waller is terrifying for an explosive build. I don't know, man. I wanted to use it there, but it just didn't work. And maybe that's my own fault, and just understanding like, hey, this gun is not in a good situation for it. Use something else. I don't know, man. Like even these guys, I'll throw this out here. Let me get in. Poop. Oh wait, that was the wrong one. Ah, of course. Do this one. Poop. There he goes. It's fully charged again. Maybe I'm just using it wrong. Maybe I need to shotgun blast it, and that's just the way. And I'm like overthinking it in some way, trying to use it like it's a gun that it's not. Like, maybe that hit him a little bit. That hit him a little bit. Hit me as well. So, I mean, that kind of worked out. But if I wasn't using Stone of Malevolence, I couldn't do that. Because, right, watch if I take this off. I take this off. And maybe instead of using Stone of Malevolence, you know, we'll use something else. We'll use the Spirit Stone. And maybe I'll try that. We'll see how that feels. But I'm pretty sure, like, when I tested it a little bit before, the only reason it was charging so quickly and effectively was because of the Stone of Malevolence. Yeah, I mean, look how much less it is now. I mean, it's charging quickly, but it's not the same, right? And even that is like I'm not even hitting. How am I not hitting his weak points? Like, there's 3 beams. There we go. And it's still not dead. Jesus, man. I don't know. Okay. Oh, robots. Robots should be good, right? Let's try that. I'm so glad I decided to stay up late and get this done. I don't know what else to say about it, man. There it is. Maybe I'm missing something. It looks kind of cool like that, but I just not it. I don't think that's it either. I like this idea of it doing homing balls. I like if the balls would like go out and home, kind of like the black mass thing in one of the dungeons in Naruto. I think that would be really cool, like little seeking black hole stars. That would be cool. And then honestly, like I wish it just get rid of the 3 hypercharged wide arcing lines. Make it could it be something else? Maybe make it the standard fire, shoot little black hole things, and then like I don't know, make it a different gun. Just make it different, man. Right now it's not different. It's the same gun but just worse. That's the video. Thanks for checking it out, guys. Take care.